Yeah, it's so bad.
Anyway, what I like to do is combine like terms on each side. So I'm going to start by combining the -6 and 1 on the left side. So I have -7 and -5 equals 2. So those two combined became -5. And then this is the part where you start undoing. So the first thing you want to undo is the subtraction of 5. So you add 5 to both sides. And then this is multiplication. So you undo multiplication with division. Okay. What is 7 divided by -7? Yes. -1. Nice. Okay. What you do is Um, once you finish writing this down, I want you to hold up your hand and give me a 1 through 5 comfort level with this problem. If this is like the first time you've ever seen it in your life, you're going to give me one finger. If it's so easy you could do it in your sleep, 5 fingers. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, let me see. 6? 21. 5 means that you could totally do this on your own without any assistance. Okay. Or no, or not. Okay, now we're going to move down to number 9, and this is evaluating expressions, and it's kind of like the function machine. So whatever the number is for x, I'm going to put in that spot, and whatever the number is for y, I'm going to put in that spot. So I just have to be careful with my writing. So x is -5, so I'm going to put it in parentheses, -5 minus y, and be very careful that you have your minus and then you have y separately as -1. So this is x -5 minus y. Okay, and we talked yesterday about what to do when you have a minus and a negative right next to each other. Plus, right? Perfect. Okay, so go back to those two and make them pluses. So this becomes -5 minus 5 plus 1. And then you go left to right. -5 minus 5 is -10 plus 1 is -9. Okay, warm-ups are done for the day. If you guys could please take your packet, and only if you were here yesterday. If you were not here yesterday, you don't have to do this part. But if you were here yesterday, can you please open your packet up to this? 1-2 and 1-3. So open it up to this, and I've got mine like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up something on the screen that I need you to draw in either your notebook or on graph paper. And while you guys are drawing that, I'm going to come stamp you. So I'm going to take this and then I'm going to flip to see if you finish the homework. And that would be this stamp and this stamp. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so leave your packet open to this and then just scooch it off to the side. If you have a notebook, get it out. If you don't have a notebook or graph paper, there's graph paper over here on the table. Come over and grab a piece of graph paper.
Over there, over where.
How many points? But now can you guys just scoot your notebook aside? We're going to come back to that in a minute. And can you please find your homework from last night, which is number 6 through 10 in the packet? Okay, I wanted to quickly go through the answers so you guys can check your answers and then ask me if you have any questions about any of them. I think we did number 6 together, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so starting with number 7, A is 54, B is -7 and 3/5, C is 2, and D is 2.93. Okay, so there's two things to learn from this problem. The first is always combine first before you take the absolute value. That was like D. And the second is if there's a negative on the outside, then that comes after, so it makes it negative. Okay. Here are figures 4 and 5. Are you guys comfortable with these two, the tile pattern problems? Okay. It goes by adding 2 tiles each time. It will have one tile, the top and right tiles are removed since the pattern is to add 2 tiles to expand each figure. Okay, now go ahead and check all 9 of these guys because there were some people who had questions on this yesterday. I really want you to focus on the difference between G and H. What happened with G and H? Did it make sense?
Yeah.
So I just want to touch on that real quick. So G is specifically saying -5 times -5. -5 times -5 is a positive. Okay, now this, you have to remember PEMDAS, exponents first, then multiply by -1. So 5 squared is 25, and then make it negative. And I wanted to point out, if you guys could take a second, and if you have your calculator with you, get it out, please. Miss Rice stole all of my lending calculators today for her pre-calc test, so we'll just have to share today. But I wanted to show you that there are parentheses on your calculator. So if you're ever not sure on a problem like this, can I borrow one of you guys'? I didn't even save one for myself. Okay. I wanted to point out that there are parentheses on this calculator. It's located above the 8 and 9. So if you actually type it in, take the time to type it in the way it looks, it gives you the correct answer. Correct answer. So if you're ever not sure, just go ahead and type those parentheses right in like it looks on the paper. Okay, and then we have one more, number 10. 10 was 1, 3, and 9. Does anyone have any questions about problems 6 through 10 that I didn't go over? And if you don't want to ask in front of everybody, you can ask me later. Okay, let's go back to the notebook. where you have this function machine situation. And this is actually a puzzle question. I'm going to come around and give you every group 3 function machines. Go ahead and get them out of the envelope. Take a look at them. Okay, and our goal in this problem is to put the 3 machines that are on in the laminated envelope. I said that wrong. The envelope itself is not laminated, that are laminated in the envelope into the proper order. So your job in your group is to figure out what order those 3 go in, to start by plugging in a 0 and getting a -31 out at the very end. And there's one of them that doesn't make sense to start with. Does anybody find the one that doesn't make sense to start with? Okay, so give it a go, get your calculators out and sort of just play with your calculator and use the extra space over on the right-hand side to kind of, this is like a guess and check type problem. It's a puzzle. I don't have any today. I'm sorry. I'll have them back tomorrow. That's right, I stole them all. Oh. X is 0 at the very beginning. And so which one of those is that really not? Yeah, so you're either gonna start with this one or the one. Okay. And now you have to play with it. So plug X in and see what you get. Plug in 0 to them. This is not supposed to be like an immediate answer. It's supposed to be like a puzzle. One by -31. Enter. Yeah, which is a positive. And then if one divided by 4, 0.25. First, get your outlet, so now take 4 and plug it in. No, 0.5. Right? And then 932. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You fill it in.
Yes, please. When you figure out the order, please fill it into the function machines on your page.
Wait, huh?
Once you get that written down, you guys can put them back in the envelope and hand it to me. Yeah. But it should be positive, like.
So two, four. Eight.
Odd is 1, 3, 5, yeah. You guys, when I was doing all this. I mean, technically. This is an odd one, you can add even if you don't. If you guys redid it, tonight.
Oh, it's with my number and so.
You did three, absolute value. Professionally. I don't want to do it. Very good. Oh, that's you.
How do you do? Figure it out. What do we do after?
Oh.
We have a homework is there. We have time for it. What's the homework?
Look at the thing. I could, yeah, only on.
Just don't do 0 every time.
Those was 3, 5, I know when that.
Yeah, 1, 3, 5, 7.
That's correct.
You guys are not ready for homework time yet.
Yeah, no.
Not yet, not yet.
Yeah, nice one.
I need you guys to set up these notes. When you're done with your puzzle. Nope, waiting for me. Oh. In the machine, yeah. It's no. Yes, it doesn't matter wherever you want. Here, people say there, some people are going off to the side. I put it on the bottom. If you're waiting, what I would love for you to do is play with your calculator and see if you can find the square root of 25 and the cube root of 8. See if you can figure out how to do that.
Yeah, I forgot the book.
See if you guys can talk and work together to figure out how to do the square root of 25 and the cube root of 8 in the last second.
So this, right?
Yeah.
25 minutes.
Yeah.
I got a cube root.
I mean, the cube root, second, and then, out there, like.
Yeah.
Is that?
Right, how do you get to
So then you get 25. Wait, you get 1 something.
Together.
Wait, for the cube root, you know, the up there, right?
No, the cube root, wait, you need to do second and then the up arrow. Yeah, but type the 3 first. Yeah. Perfect. You guys are awesome.
Right.
Anybody, need help with the calculator? The square root and these guys, need help with their imaginary calculator.
I'm gonna
We're gonna manifest it right now.
I just push up a little bit.
Oh.
And then I would. Like that.
I wouldn't set the law.
Was on it too?
Like we talked about. What I should have done, I didn't know, Yep, awesome. Okay, all right, guys, so let's go over these notes. So we're gonna do these together. Then I'm going to help you get started with the homework. Okay. So absolute value definition, we talked about that yesterday. The numbers distance from 0 which means that we're going to make it positive. So if it's already positive, it stays positive. And if it's negative, it becomes positive. Okay, and I've given you all four of these problems are all four different scenarios that you might come up with absolute value. Can you guys tell on all of these four problems that I've already combined anything that was inside down to one number? So remember, you always combine first, so bring it down to one number. Do you know what I mean by that? Okay, perfect. Okay, so absolute value of 3. 3 is already positive, so the answer is 3. Negative 3 becomes positive, positive 3. Okay, now these are different. You do the absolute value first, and then you make it negative. So the absolute value of 3 is 3, then you make it negative. Ignore the negative. Absolute value of negative 3 is 3, then you make it negative. So the moral of the story is, if there's a negative on the outside, it's negative, basically. Okay. So for the square root and cube root section, I want to talk about what question this is asking. What number times itself is 25? Okay, so if you don't have a calculator, but you know your multiplication tables, you're going to say what number times itself is 25. And I like to use a little factor tree to show that 25 is 5 times 5. So the square root of 25 is 5. You're always welcome to do that on the calculator. It's totally fine. I just want you to know what you're doing, like what the calculator is doing. Okay, now for cube root, it's saying what number times itself is 8. What number times itself is 8. Okay, so I'm going to go with, instead of 2 little branches off my factor tree, I'm going to go with 3 little branches off my factor tree. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So the cube root of 8 is 2. Again, you can always use a calculator for that if you want. It's totally okay, but I do want you to know what the calculator's doing. And multiplication tables for you, basically. Okay. Last thing, when you guys have this all situated, you can put your notebook away, go back to your packet. Okay, so now we're done with this box. We did 1, 4, 1, 5, which was the puzzle. And then the absolute value and cube root notes. We did square root notes too, but cube roots were what I wanted to talk about specifically there. So this is done. And tonight's homework is the order of operations and evaluating practice worksheet odd problems. Okay, so find the worksheet. It's right after the problems from yesterday, 6 through 10. And the odd problems are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and 15. Does that make sense to you guys, the odd number problems? Okay, so now I would like you guys to pick one from 1 through 7 for me to do with you. Okay, who votes for 5? Who votes for 7? 7 wins. Okay. Let's take a look at numbers. 7's easier? Okay. Oh, great. Okay, so parentheses first. So we're looking at this, and this has an exponent in it. So this becomes 3 plus 16. Okay, everybody good so far? Okay, then I'm going to combine in the parentheses. So I have 2 minus 19 minus 3 divided by negative 3 minus 2. Okay. Order of operations says the next thing is multiplication and division. So I need to do that minus 3 divided by negative 3. Now, there's a bunch of different ways to see that. When I see that, I see 2 negatives make a positive, and so I'm going to make that plus 1. You could also make it minus negative 1 and then make it plus. What do you want to do? It's plus either way. So
First one.
I like to see this as minus a negative number, so I'm going to go plus plus. And then it becomes 2 minus 19 plus 1 minus 2. This reminds me of those like things that come up on your feed that's like only 10% of Americans can solve this. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
That's like this bit. Okay. So 2 minus 19 is negative 17. Plus 1 is negative 16. Minus 2 is negative 18. Okay, now I want you guys to look at 9, 11, 13, and 15 and pick one of those. 9, 11, 13, and 15. 15? You guys are doing the smart choice. It's the hardest one in each one. Very smart.
What was it?
Okay. So z is 5 minus y is 3 minus negative x is negative 3 plus absolute value of z. Oi. Okay. 5 minus 3 minus negative. Okay, so let's do this multiplication. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15 divided by 3. And what's the absolute value of 5? 5. Beautiful. Okay, now this is kind of awkward. I've got 3 negatives instead of 2 negatives. So you can cancel out 2 of them and make them plus, but the third one stays. I did that wrong. I wrote it wrong. I got all excited to write the 3 and then parentheses. Okay, -5 and 5 cancel each other out. So this is 5 minus 3, which is 2. Okay, you guys, work on the rest of the problems until the end of the period, please. 10:32. And if you're bored later, the tomorrow night's homework is the even ones. So if you want to, you could do the whole thing. But you don't have to, just the odd ones tonight.